Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be reviewing and then giving away a Furious Fist theme deck. This is the Dark Hammer theme deck. It is a Fighting and Darkness type deck, and it's the first of two Furious Fist decks that I'll be giving away on YouTube. Next month, I'll be reviewing and giving away the Enchanted Echo theme deck. So the first part of this video is going to be the review of the deck, and then the second part is going to lay out the rules to entry for the giveaway. So this theme deck is featured around Pangoro, as you can see on the back of the box. I'll read the summary of the Dark Hammer theme deck, and then go through what's inside the box. So it says, bring the hammer down with the Dark Hammer theme deck. Get your hardest hitters into battle-ready mode quickly with handy trainer cards like Evosoda and Karina. Mienfoo pulls a tricky hit and run as Pangoro hammers away at your opponent's deck. Landorus keeps your team powered up with energy, and Professor Sycamore refills your hand. With Machop's Fighting Fury ability to boost your attacks, your opponent could be in for a dark fate. And then inside the box you get the 60 cards that are listed right on the right here. You get a checklist, metallic coin, 2-player playmat, a code card to unlock this deck in the online TCG, deck box, and damage counters. And this deck is $12.98 at Walmart, $12.99 in most other stores. I have opened it already just so I can straighten out the cards inside the deck box and show you everything here. So here is the checklist, damage counters and burn and poison markers. Here's the 2-player playmat, the metallic coin, which features Lucario, then the deck box and code card and featured card, which is Pangoro. This is a holographic patterned one. And then here's the code card that unlocks this theme deck. And here's the deck box with these 60 cards in it. Okay, so I'll go through each of these cards and just tell you a little bit what I think about the deck. And then next month, when I review the Enchanted Echo deck, I can compare these two decks and say which one I like better. I've heard pretty positive reviews of this deck so far, so I'm guessing this is probably a pretty good deck. And what I would recommend if you're just a beginner is to buy a theme deck like this of just the types that you like, and then just slowly modify the deck. Okay, so start off with a 4-2 line of Pancham and Pangoro. As you'll see here, Pancham's a fighting type and then Pangoro's a darkness type. But Pancham, basic Pokemon, 60 HP, 2 moves, confront does 30 damage, so it's a little bit slower of a move and does below average damage. But bad influence evolution says if you have any darkness Pokemon on your bench, search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon. So it's an easy way to get Pangoro into play. So 2 of those, actually 4 of those, my mistake, and then 2 Pangoro. Pancham's not that great, but Pangoro is supposed to be pretty good. Has 120 HP for stage 1, so definitely good HP. Clobber is its first move, does 30 damage, plus 40 more damage if you discard an item card from your hand. So that's 70 damage total. And then Hammer Arm does 80 damage for 3 energy cards, and you get to discard the top card of your opponent's deck. So this card has 2 very powerful moves on it. Definitely a good supporter card in a deck. I wouldn't put it in as a featured card like this deck has, because 80 damage really isn't that much compared to some of the EX and Mega EX cards out there. Next Pokemon family, we have a 2-2 line of Scraggy and Scrafty. Both of them are darkness type Pokemon. Scraggy, another basic Pokemon with 60 HP, average HP, and then Corkscrew Punch does 30 damage for 2 darkness energy cards. So you have to wait a little bit to use this card in play, but it's a solid move. Most basic Pokemon that have a 2 energy card attack can only do 20 damage. It's a good move there. Good card. I must have put a Scraggy somewhere else in the deck, but there should be a 2-2 line. Now Scrafty, HP of 90, 2 moves on this card as well. Low Kick does 30 damage, which is a good move, and then Machine Gun Headbutt does 50 damage times the number of heads you get when you flip 3 coins. However, Scraggy is confused after using this move. So possibly this move could do 150 damage a turn for only 2 energy cards, but it does confuse Scraggy, so you'll want to include trainer cards in this deck that remove confusion. I believe that is it for the Darkness type Pokemon in the deck. Not many. Now we're on to a 3-2-1 line of Machop, Machop, and Machamp. Machop, above average HP with 70, and it can do only one move called Knuckle Punch, which does 10 damage. So a pretty average starter type Pokemon there. Could be used on its own. Then we have Machop, which requires 2 energy cards to do 40 damage. So Beat Down's a very good move on Machop. Quite limited in that it can only have the one move. But it's not a bad stage 1 card overall to use, especially if you have Machamp with it. And Machamp has a Fighting Fury, which is a very good ability. It says each of your fighting Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, too bad Pangoro wasn't a fighting type Pokemon, but it increases the amount of damage that all of your other fighting type Pokemon can do. And Machamp Crush can do 100 damage per turn if you use its ability. This is a very good card. And it says Machamp Crush, like I said, does 80 damage, only 3 energy cards. And it says during your opponent's next turn, any damage done by attacks from the defending Pokemon is reduced by 40. It's a very good card. I definitely would say that this is the main card in the Dark Hammer deck. Machamp might even put 2 Machamp in this deck and take out one of the other Pokemon that I talked about earlier. What a very good card right there. Next up is a 2-1 line of Makuhita and Hariyama. 80 HP, so a lot of basic Pokemon with high HP here. It does 10 damage for 1 energy card with Punch, and then 40 damage for 3 energy cards with Strength. So a lot of these basic Pokemon have had 3 energy card attacks, but they do below average damage and another high retreat cost. And I believe Machop also had that 2 colorless energy card retreat cost, so a lot of these basic Pokemons are a little bit higher retreat cost, so you have to figure out a way to retreat them for a little bit cheaper. Next up here is Hariyama, like I said, a 2-1 line. Hariyama, 120 HP, so a lot of these Pokemon have good HP. Thick Fat is its ability, and it says any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Fire Water type Pokemon is reduced by 30. And then Rocket Slap does 80 damage for 3 energy cards. But you'll want to notice that this card does have a very high retreat cost of 4 colorless energy cards, which is higher than any of the energy costs for the attack on this card. So a good card overall, just a high retreat cost. Next up is a basic Pokemon, Landorus. Just 1 Landorus in this deck, 120 HP, so again, going on that trend of high HP cards. Shout of Power does 20 damage, and it allows you to attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. And then Sky Lariat, I really like that move, does 90 damage for 3 energy cards. Pretty good right there. Okay, the next family here is Mienfoo, Mienshao. There's a 2-2 line. 60 HP, and it has 2 moves. Flop does 10 damage, Lunge does 30 damage. However, if you get a Tailswind, you flip a coin, the move does nothing. So really it only has 1 move that can do damage every time, which is Flop. So it's a fairly limited basic Pokemon card, but definitely I'd rate it like a 3 out of 5 on my blog. And then Mienshao, 90 HP. It has 2 moves, Arrow Turn, which does 40, and it says return this Pokemon all cards attached to your hand. And High Jump Kick does 40 damage for 2 colorless energy cards. So definitely an average card there. Both moves do 40 damage. Next up here is Hitmonlee. There are 2 Hitmonlee in this deck. 90 HP, 2 moves, Stretch Kick does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and Spiral Kick does 30 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, and I would include more Hitmonlee in this deck. I'd make this the starter Pokemon for the deck. 30 damage right here to any of your opponent's Pokemon for only 1 energy card is a very good move. You can also include this card in like a spread damage type deck. That's it for the fighting type cards in the deck. Now we're on to the colorless type, and there's only 2 different colorless type Pokemon in the deck. There's a 2/2 line of Lickitung and Lickilicky. Lickitung, another high HP Pokemon, 90. However, the move's not that great. 3 colorless energy cards and can only do 50 damage. It'd be nice to do 60 damage. And if you get a tails and you flip a coin, this move actually does nothing at all. So not that great. This is definitely a card I'd be able to remove out of the deck. Next up here, 2 Lickilicky, and that's the last of the Pokemon. Lickilicky, stage 1, 120 HP, and then 2 moves. There's Knockoff and Lickichop. Both moves require a ton of energy cards, as well as the retreat cost is very high, so definitely a slow card to set up. You're going to want to set it up on your bench. But Knockoff does 50 damage, and it allows you to discard a card from your opponent's hand. And then Lickichop does 60 damage plus 30 more damage for each heads you get when you flip a coin until you get tails. So this card can do major damage. Lickichop can do quite a bit, but if you get a tails right away when you're doing Lickichop, then you're really overpaying to be able to do only 60 damage. So I would consider taking that line out of this deck for sure. So that is it for the Pokemon. I guess just a quick summary of what I think about the Pokemon there. I definitely like Machop quite a bit. Like I said, that could be the feature Pokemon. Landorus is pretty good, as well as Hitmonlee. There's not really much strategy involved with the fighting type or any of these Pokemon really. It's just a lot of Pokemon that can do a high amount when attacking, which is pretty straightforward and very good for beginners. Now we're on to the trainers. Karina is the first trainer. There's 2. It says search your deck for a fighting type Pokemon and an item card, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So this is a good trainer card for fighting type decks. Next up is Energy Switch. There are 2 Energy Switch cards in this deck, and it says move a basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another one. And you're going to need this quite a bit with the Pokemon that have high retreat costs. You're just going to have to move 1 energy card from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon so you can retreat it. And then Evo Soda, just 1 of these. It says search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterward. And that's a good way to, let's say, get Machop out there. You can use Evo Soda. And then Pokemon Center Lady, just 1. It says heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your Pokemon. So I remember that Scraggy confused itself. You could use this card on that and remove the confusion. And then Professor's Letter, there are 2 of these. And it says search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. And with this deck especially, a lot of the cards have higher energy costs for attacking as well as retreat costs. So you're going to have to get plenty of energy cards in your hand so you can make sure and attach energy every turn. And then Professor Sycamore, 2 of these, and it says to discard your hand and draw 7 cards. More of a recycle type of thing. It's also good if you have maybe 2 cards in your hands, you can discard just 2 and get 7 new cards. And then the last trainer is called Roller Skates, 2 of these, and it says to flip a coin. If heads, draw 3 cards. Now I usually don't like trainer cards that depend on coin flips, so I'd probably remove this trainer out of this deck and include some better ones, even maybe more of the trainer cards that we talked about earlier. That's it for the trainer cards, and I really like the Karina card. You definitely want to put that into all fighting type decks that you make. And then for energy cards, there are 18 total, 12 fighting and 6 darkness. So that's really it for the review part of this video. I guess I could just say what I thought of the deck. Overall, it's a pretty straightforward deck, good for beginners. A lot of the cards don't have much for abilities or special strategies that you have to use. You just put in the active Pokemon spot and attack, which is pretty good. I actually like those type of decks quite a bit. But overall, I would say it's a solid deck. Probably give it a 3 out of 5 rating, just an average deck. If you want to go out there and get a pretty solid deck, I definitely recommend this one. So now to give this deck away, basically all you have to do to win this theme deck is you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and then just say what your favorite card is from this theme deck. Once you do those things, just comment, like I said, with that favorite card from the set, and you're entered for the theme deck. And then at the end of the month, I will send a message to the winner, and that person will be the winner of the Dark Hammer theme deck. So thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. And if you have any more questions on how to enter, make sure to read the video description of this video. Also, before you go, make sure and check out all the links in the video description of this video, my Facebook blog and Twitter links. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Good luck, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.